Good afternoon, students. Good afternoon, students. Am I audible? सकाळचे दोन्ही लेक्चर झाले का रे?
हो.
विद्यार्थ्यांची स्ट्रेंथ कशी होती अंदाजे?
Most of the students होते.
Okay. Now here 36 are there right now, and so many students are going to join now. 38 it is increased. Okay, what we have seen in the previous lecture of these principles of programming languages. Or you don't remember? Aditya Jadhav. Aditya Jadhav. Amit Egbote. Akash Gore.
Yes, sir.
What we have seen in the last lecture. What we have seen in the last lecture of PPL, Principles of Programming Languages. You were present for my previous lecture or you were absent? Chetan Mane. Chetan Mane. When I am talking with you, you do the unmute and talk with me. Chetan Mane.
Yes, sir.
So what we have seen in the previous lecture.
Sir, we have seen assembly language and we have taken overview of all languages and its history.
After that, one lecture is I have taken. Can anyone say this? Any one of you? What we have seen in the previous lecture?
Sir, may I?
Yeah.
Sir, a role of programming languages, programming environments, virtual computers, and binding and binding times. That are.
Yes. Very good. This part we have seen in the previous lecture, 4 different points. Virtual computers, and last one is the binding and binding types. In that, what is binding and binding types? There are various classes of binding types. 4 different classes are there: execution time, translation time, language implementation time, and language definition time. मी स्क्रीन शेअर करावं म्हणतोय, पण आज स्पीड खूपच कमी आहे. Now, these are the parts. Various classes of binding types. Binding types. Okay. There are 4 different classes. There are various classes of binding types. there are 4 different classes. One is the execution time. This is also called as dynamic binding or runtime binding. Execution time, translation time, language implementation time, and language definition time. These are the 4 different classes of binding types. Now first of all we will see, first one is the execution time, that is also called as the dynamic binding or runtime binding. As there are many bindings that are performed during execution of the program. There are many bindings that are performed during the execution of the program. These type of binding are also called as dynamic binding or the runtime binding. Right? Dynamic binding or the runtime binding. Now, at entry to a block or a subprogram, an entry to a block or subprogram, at the entry of subprogram, the binding takes the place between the actual two formal parameters. At the entry to a block or subprogram, at the entry of a subprogram, the binding takes place between the actual two formal parameters. There can be binding of variables. There can be binding of variables with their values. And second point in this execution time is the at arbitrary points during program execution. At arbitrary points during program execution. The variables are assigned with values. The variables are assigned with values. This is the first type of class in binding types. Second is the translation time. Translation time, implementation and language time, and language definition time. All these are the static bindings. And whereas this execution time is the dynamic binding. Remaining 3 all classes of this type of binding are the static binding. Now translation time, chosen by programmer. In this binding, declaration of bind types to variable names occurs. In this binding, declaration of bind types of to variable name occurs. Similarly, the binding between the values and constants occur. Second point in this translation time is that chosen by loader. Some bindings are chosen by loader. For example, global variables to location, source program to object program, source program to the object program representation. Global variables to location, source program to the object program representation. This is the translation time. Third class of this binding type is the language implementation type. In this type of binding, bind the values to the representation in computer. In this type of binding, bind the values to the representation in computer. And next, also there is binding of operations and statements to semantic of operations. And last one type of this language is the class is the language definition type. Most of the structures of programming language is fixed at the time. Most of the structures of programming languages is fixed at the time of language is defined. Hence, binding occurs as per the structure of the program that has been defined
at the time of its definition. At the time of its definition. And next point is the early binding and late binding. Early binding and late binding. Early binding, it happens at compile time, where you will do the compilation of the program. At that time, this binding happens, this early binding. Early binding, it happens at the compile time only. The method definition and the method uh, call are linked during the complete time. This happens when all information needed to call this happens when all information needed to call a method is available at the compile time.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now early binding, it happens at the compile time. The method definition and the method call are linked during the compile time. This happens when all information needed to call a method is available at the compile time. And early binding is more efficient. Now this is the part of early binding. Now the late binding. Late binding happens at runtime. Compile time and runtime. Compile time means early binding. Runtime means the late binding. The method definition and a method call are not bound until runtime. The method definition and a method call are not bound until runtime. This early binding is more efficient, whereas late binding is more flexible. Late binding is more flexible. So this is all about what the early binding and late binding. Now next our point is the programming paradigm. Programming paradigms. Programming paradigm can be defined as a method of problem solving, and an approach to programming language design. An approach to programming language design. There are various types of programming paradigm. One is the imperative or procedural programming. One is the imperative or the procedural programming. Second is the object oriented programming. Third is the functional programming, and fourth one is the logic programming. First one is the imperative or procedural programming. Second is the object oriented programming. Third is the functional programming. Fourth one is the logic programming. Now these are the different types of the programming paradigm. Examples of various programming languages based on the these programming paradigms mentioned, like imperative. If the imperative programming or the procedural programming is there, now what are the examples of the programming languages in this imperative? ALGOL, ALGOL is there. ALGOL programming, COBOL programming, ADA programming, ADA, C programming, Pascal programming, and Fortran programming. These are the different programming languages in which which comes under the imperative programming or the procedural programming. Now, what are the examples of this? Object oriented programming. Again I am doing this screen sharing because today there is very poor network is there for the in our organization in the college due to one there are two connections. One connection is failure. For the another connection, it's too much load is there. This part, early binding and late binding. Then programming paradigms. There are four different. These are the various programming languages based on the programming paradigm. These are the so many examples are there in this programming paradigm. Imperative programming, that is the ALGOL, COBOL, ADA, C, Pascal, Proton. And object oriented programming are the Smalltalk, C++, Java. These are the object oriented programming. Then functional programming are LISP, Lisp, that is the list processor, list programming, LISP, Lisp. And APL, these are the functional programming languages. And logic programming language is the Prolog. Logic programming language is the Prolog. Now first one is the imperative programming. This imperative programming, the Latin word impetrate means to command. Hence this language is command driven or statement oriented language. The imperative programming, this is also called as procedural programming language. A program consists of a sequence of statements. What is a program? A program consists of sequence of statements. After execution of each statement, the values are stored in the memory. After execution of each statement, the values are stored in the memory. The central features of this imperative programming language are variables, assignment statements, and iterations. Central features of this imperative programming language are variables, assignment statements, and iterations. Examples of these imperative programming languages are the C, Pascal, ADA, Fortran, and so on. This is called the imperative programming first type in programming paradigm. And this imperative programming is the simple one. And these languages have low memory utilization. Low memory utilization is there in imperative or procedural programming language. Now second one is the object oriented programming. In this language, everything is modeled as object. In this object oriented programming, the language, everything is modeled as object. Hence is the name. This language, object-oriented programming language, has a modular programming approach in which data and functions are bound in one entity called class. Object-oriented programming language has a modular programming approach in which data and functions are bound in one entity called class. This programming paradigm has gained a great popularity in recent years because of its characteristic features such as data abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and so on. Examples of object-oriented programming languages are the Smalltalk, C++, Java.
This object-oriented programming provides a modular programming approach. It provides abstract data type in which some of the implementation details can be hidden or protected. Modifying the code for maintenance become easy due to modulus in the program. Modification in one module cannot disturb the rest of the code. Finding bugs become easy. Object-oriented programming provides a good framework for code library from which the software components can be easily used and modified by the programmer. Next one is the paradigm of programming is the functional programming. In this functional programming, the computations are expressed in the form of functions. Computations are expressed in the form of functions. Functional programming paradigms treat values as single entities. Functional programming paradigms treat values as single entities. Unlike variables, values are never modified. Instead, values are transformed into new values. Computations of several languages are performed largely through applying functions to values. That is plus 10 or plus 20 like this. Computations of functional language are performed largely through applying functions to values. This expression is interpreted as plus 10 plus 20 like this. For binding more complex functions, the previously developed functions are used. Thus, the program developed proceeds by developing simple function implement to complex function development. Examples of function programming are the Lisp. Lisp is one of the example. Lisp programming, Lisp or APL. This functional programming, due to use of functions, the programs are easy to understand. Due to use of functions in the programs are easy to understand in this functional programming. The functions are reusable and it is possible to develop and maintain large programs consisting of large number of functions. So this is all about what functional programming, and last one is the logic programming. In the logic programming, we express computation in terms of mathematical logic only. In logic programming, we express computations in terms of mathematical logic only. It is also called as rule-based programming approach. Rules are specified in no special order. It supports to declare programming approach. It supports for declaring programming approach. In this approach, how the computations take place is explained. In support for declarative programming approach, in this approach, how computation takes place is explained. The logic paradigm focuses on predicate logic, in which the basic concept is a relation. The example of this programming language is the Prolog. This programming language paradigm is reliable. Logic programming is the reliable one, and the program can be quickly developed using this approach, as it makes use of a true or false statement rather than the objects. It is best suitable for the problems in which knowledge base can be established. It is suitable, it means logic programming is suitable for the problems in which knowledge base can be established. So these are the different programming paradigms in this programming. In this the programming paradigms. This is all what about this fundamentals of programming first unit. All of you are getting it now?
Yes, no? Yes, I am asking you something. At least one of you give me the answer. आज कुठला पेपर आहे दुपारी 2 वाजता?
कंप्यूटर ग्राफिक्स.
हा? नीट नाही ऐकू नाही आला मला. कुठला आज पेपर आहे 2 वाजता? OOP, ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग. हो का? Okay, just now we discussed this object oriented programming, right? So what is that object oriented programming? Object oriented programming language, everything is modeled as object, hence it is the name object oriented. Everything is modeled as object. This language is modular programming approach in which data and functions are bound in one entity called the class. Object oriented programming paradigm has gained a great popularity in recent years because of its characteristic features. What are the characteristic features? Such as data abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and so on. And what are the examples of object oriented programming languages? C++, Java, Smalltalk. Clear this? Can I continue? Next point. Can I continue? Next point. Structuring the data, computations and programming. Or do you want now sometime at 2 p.m. sir, we have the online examination mock, so you stop here. This structuring of data, computations and programming we will see in the next lecture. Like this you want to say, or shall I continue? मी काय समजू, कंटिन्यू करू का बोला रे तू? यू शुड बी इन कम्युनिकेशन विथ मी, दॅट इज वाय आय एम आफ्टर सम टाइम आय एम आस्किंग यू समथिंग. थोड्या वेळाने मी तुमच्याशी बोलत असतो की बाबा तुम्ही तिथं म्हणजे टच मध्ये आहे की नाहीये, किंवा माझा आवाज तुमच्यापर्यंत येतो नाही येतो मला कळायला पाहिजे ना. तुम्हाला समजतं न समजतं सगळ्या ह्या गोष्टीसाठी मी तुम्हाला विचारत असतो. दिस कम्युनिकेशन शुड बी फ्रॉम बोथ साइड्स, युअर साइड as well as mine side. Only I am talking with you and just you are listening. This should also not happen.
Yes, sir. You can pick up further points, sir. You can move on next point, sir.
This is what my question is. Can I proceed? Yes, sir. That's all. Now
Yeah.
structuring the data, computations and programming. Now primitive data types, right? This is the elementary data types. Now elementary data types, that is the primitive data types.
The primitive data types are elementary data types. Primitive data types are elementary data types which are not built from some other types. Which are not built from some other types. The primitive data types are elementary data types which are not built from some other types. The values of a primitive data types are atomic and cannot be decomposed into simpler constituents. A primitive data type is either a data type that is built into a programming language or one that could be characterized as a basic structure for building more sophisticated data types. The values of a primitive data types are atomic. Many times the built-in data types can be interchangeably used with built-in data type but there are exceptions. For example, enum in C is a primitive data type which is used to define new constants. Any programming language has a predefined set of built-in data types. Any programming language has a predefined set of built-in data types. This built-in data type reflects the behavior of underlying hardware. Due to built-in data type, the values are interpreted differently using hardware instructions. Now, these primitives supported by each programming language are sometimes called built-in data types. Primitives supported by each programming language are sometimes called built-in data type since they are values directly in memory. And non-primitive data types are data types stored references to values rather than the values themselves. Some examples of non-primitive are the Java data type include array and classes. Now there are the types of built-in programming languages. Primitive data types now. There are types of data types. There are 8 types of data types. 8 are there. Primitive numeric data types. How many are there? 8 are there. Integer is there, character is there, floating point is there, boolean is there, complex is there, wide is there, double floating point is there, wide character is there. There are 8 different types of of data types. One is the integer, that is the numeric type. Numeric types means the integer, floating point, complex and decimal. Second is the boolean type. Third is the character type. The fourth is the boolean, double floating point, wide and wide character. These are the different types which are built in the types of programming languages. Now, first of all, we will see integer. Now, integer. This is most commonly used data type. Integer is the most commonly used data type. The integer data types can be signed or unsigned data type. The integer data type can be signed or unsigned data types. In Java, there are signed integer data types such as byte, short, int and long. In C++, unsigned integer data types are simply the integer values without signs. The unsigned integer data types are typically used for binary data. The unsigned integer data types are typically used for binary data. Now floating point is there. This is the numeric type, floating point. Integer type, floating point. Now the floating point data type is used for representing the real numbers. On most of the computers, the floating point numbers are stored in binary format only. Floating point values are represented as fractions or exponents. Floating point values are represented as fractions or exponents. In most of the languages, there are two types of floating point values. One is the float and second is the double. One is the float and second is the double. Now, the next our type is the Boolean types. Now, Boolean type, this data type define only two values. Boolean type data type define only two values, either true or false. In Boolean algebra, the Boolean data type is used. In Boolean algebra, the Boolean data type is used. The basic operations performed are and, not, or, etc. The basic operations performed are and, not, or. These are the operations which are performed in Boolean. Boolean types of the are simple. Types are simplest of all types. Their range of values has only two elements, that is one for the true and other for the false. These data types are often used to represent switches or flags in the program. Now next is the character string type. Character string type. This single character, the single character value is represented using CHAR. Character data type, CHAR, that is the data type. The single character value is represented using CHAR data type. In a C, the character type is variable. The character in C, the character type variable is CHAR, that is the choice. Like this. In this way, we define in C language. Type structure of C++. The type structure of C++ is divided into two main categories. The type structure of C++ is divided into two main categories. One is the fundamental type and second is the derived type. One is the fundamental type and second is the derived type. The fundamental type is the integer and float. And the integer data type is classified into int, comma char, comma short, comma long. And the float data type is classified into float and double. Float and double. And the derived data type and the derived type of actual derived from the fundamental types. The derived type of actually derived from the fundamental types, that is the, for example, arrays, class, structure, union, functions and pointers. Arrays, class, structure, union, functions and pointers. These are the derived data types in C++ structure. Fundamental type, derived type. Fundamental type, integer and float. And again integers are in int, character, short, long. Float in float or double, and derived data types are the arrays, class, structure, struct, union, pointer. Structure, union, pointer, functions. Arrays, class, structures, union, functions and pointers. These are the derived types. These are the derived types. Next one is the array types. Array is collection of similar data type element. Array is collection similar data type elements. It is homogeneous aggregate of data elements in which an individual element is identified by its position in the aggregate relative to the first element. Array is collection of similar data type elements. It is homogeneous aggregate of data elements in which an individual element is identified by its position in the aggregate relative to the first element. Individual array element is specified using subscription expression. Individual array elements is specified during subscription expression. In C or C++, array can be declared as like this: int a in square bracket 10, 20, 30, whatever it may be. It's a size, that is the size of that an array. The design issues are there in this array. Primary design issues specific to array. What types are legal for subscripts? Are subscripting expressions in element preferences range checked? When are subscript ranges bound? When does allocation takes place? Like this, so many primary design issues are there in this array types. All of you are already learned this, no? Array structure, pointer.
Yes, sir.
Next type is the pointer type. Next type is the pointer type. Pointer. A pointer is a variable that stores a memory address. A pointer is a variable that stores a memory address for the purpose of acting as an alias to what is stored at that address. A pointer can be used to access a location in the area where storage is dynamically allocated, which is called as heap. A pointer can be used to access a location in the area where storage is dynamically allocated, which is also called as heap. HEAP, heap. Variables that are dynamically allocated from the heap are called as heap dynamic variables. Heap dynamic variables. Variables without names are called anonymous variables. Anonymous variables. What is the use of the pointer? Pointers provide the power to indirect addressing. Uses of pointers, that is the provide the power of indirect addressing, provide a way to manage dynamic memory. A pointer can be used to access a location in the area where storage is dynamically created, usually called a heap. That is usually called as the heap. All of you also, I hope so, you are familiar with the this reference. Reference type. A reference is a variable that refers to something else and can be used as an alias for that something else. A pointer is a reference, but a reference is not necessarily a pointer. Here in the notes it is mentioned that Java different types of data types in Java data types, these data types, and here also again here C in C++ data types. Yeah, primitive data type, user defined types, and derived types. Primary data type are the character, integer, float, and byte. Primitive data types in C. Is it visible on your screen? Primary data type. User defined ordinal types. User defined ordinal types. An ordinal type is one in which the range of possible values can be easily associated with a set of positive integers. User can define two types of ordinal types. One is the enumeration and second one is the subrange. One is the enumeration, is user defined ordinal types. One is two types are there in this ordinal types. One is the enumeration type and second is the subrange types. Now an enumeration type is one in which the user enumerates all of the possible values which are symbolic constants. In ADA, a typical enumeration type is shown as this type days type space days is in bracket m t w r f s a s like this. And subrange types are subrange type is an ordinal contiguous subsequence of an ordinal type. These types are introduced by the Pascal. Pascal is one of the language that is in that language a subrange is mentioned, introduced. That is, for example, 12.16 is a subrange of the integer type like this. Actual primitive data type are the character, integer, float, and byte. And the character data type is the CHR, signed CHR, unsigned CHR, and integer are signed and unsigned. And again, signed are divided into int, short int, long int, and unsigned int, short int, long int. And in float double and long double. And the byte is one of the also primitive data type. These are the different primitive data types in C. And in the C++ data types, primitive data types, user defined types, and derived types. Primitive data type, user defined types, and the derived types. In this Java data types in Java, that is the primitive and non-primitive or the reference. And in primitive, boolean is there, character is there, floating point is there, integer is there. Boolean is the boolean, character is that is the CHAR, floating point that is the float and double, and integers are the byte, short, int, long. And the non-primitive or reference in Java data types are the arrays, strings, classes, interfaces, enums, and objects. These are the different data types in Java. Okay. Now it's 1:43. Today we have seen so many new points here discussed today. Today I will at this end of this different types in different programming languages like C++, and Java. And most of the all this part I hope so you have studied before this in previous semester and in first year subject. It is like that the revision, one of the type of revision in this unit. Uh, can I stop here now today then? Can I
Yes.
stop here today? Okay, Sagar, thank you. Thank you, Gnaneshwari. Anybody want to ask any question? Anybody want to ask any question related to the subject or related to the any other subject of ACCOM? Okay. Thank you, Sagar. If you have any difficulty, you can call me at any time. I already number before this I have given, or in this group also it is available. Fulari sir. S V Fulari. S for the Solapur, V for the Vijayawada, and P for the Pune. PHULARI. S V Fulari. So if a number is there in the SCComp group, if you have any difficulty, you can contact me at any time. And for your this mock examination, wish you all the best. Thank you. Thank you very much.